What's up, everyone? This is Patrick Jaguar with Cosmic Alchemist Astrology, and happy Labor Day. So it's Monday, September 6th, and I'm just hanging out at home today in the backyard. It's pretty sweet. And I don't want to take too long. It's probably going to go longer than I expect because you know me if you follow me, but keep it as short and sweet as possible. Thanks to everybody who follows the channel, who's subscribed, who likes, who leaves comments. The likes and the comments help the search algorithm, helps me come up higher when people search for, keywords for astrology videos. So yeah, thanks for doing all that. Thanks for sharing. If you haven't done these things, please consider. The better the channel does, the more videos I can make, the better quality, more in depth I can go. But yeah, thanks for doing it, and thanks for considering if you've not. Either way. So let's get into this new moon. This is going to be a new moon in Leo, 20 degrees of Leo. And since I do Vedic astrology, it's going to be in the nakshatra, or the lunar mansion. A lunar mansion is one of the 27 smaller constellations that makes up the 12 signs. And actually, in Vedic astrology, which is a lot older than the mainstream Western astrology, they used to use these 27 constellations, these lunar mansions, before they used the 12 signs. And Vedic astrology is more of a lunar-based system than a solar-based like the Western. So that's why I bring those in. But yeah, and I do Vedic. Most astrologers today are talking about the new moon in Virgo, but this system, it's Leo, because it's 23 degrees off. 2/3 of a sign difference because of different zodiacs. Anyway, I'm 2 minutes in, and let's get this going. So this new moon is 20 degrees Leo, PURVA PHALGUNI nakshatra. This is all about enjoying life. Living life to the fullest, because Leo is all about fun and just enjoying anything it offers and just feeling fulfillment. That's the bottom line with Leo. And so, and a big part of that is enjoying the people in your life and enjoying the attention you get from them and enjoying giving them attention. So social activity is a big part of Leo. And, social activity is something that has been getting held over our heads for the last year and a half with all these conditions. And a big part of it is, we were told that we had to be test subjects in a medical science experiment in order to get our socialization privileges back. And people thought it was going to be 1 or 2 sticks and 1 or 2 punctures, and then it would be said and done. But now it's looking like they want people to do it every 6 months, and then one of the medical industrial complex firms that begins with a P is coming up with a twice a day pill against the vector. So the ante keeps getting upped for what we have to do to get our socialization privileges back. And it's kind of looking like the medical industrial complex and its puppets and government are just going to keep changing it. No matter what we do, they might just keep holding it over our heads. So this is a full moon where you really have to think about, do I want to follow the fear, follow the scary paranoid fantasy stories, or do I want to take my life back and live my life back? Not live my life back, take my life back and just live it. So that's a big thing to be considered here. And this is for the whole world. If you want to get more specific about America, Leo is the 9th house. 9th house is philosophy, worldviews, spirituality, religion, higher knowledge, wisdom, higher information, higher education. So for America too, this basically means that like the fulfillment and prosperity of Leo and the fun of Leo has to be found through higher perspective and through philosophy and higher knowledge and wisdom. That's the only way that we as Americans are destined to be able to enjoy fulfillment and fun and prosperity. So in order to enjoy life right now, you have to go back and look at your view of the world and everything going on in it right now, and see if it's based on correct assumptions. And those assumptions are formed off of information we've been taking in about what's going on in the world. And do the people who say they want to help us really want to help us? Or do they have something to gain financially and just in order to indulge their constant lust for power? So these are things to be considered here. So yeah, this PURVA PHALGUNI, that one of these constellations, one of these lunar mansions in Leo, where this new moon takes place, symbol is the hammock. So it's all about kicking back and enjoying life. We're also coming into harvest time, and that's, harvest time everywhere in the temperate zone in the northern hemisphere has harvest fairs and festivals, town fairs, county fairs, church fairs, because it's harvest season. And people, when 90% of people grew their own food, harvest time was a kickback time, because from late winter through harvest time, you have to work really hard in order to make the food grow to bring the harvest in. So it's the historic time where you kick back and you had some leisure time, through the fall and winter. So yeah, this full moon is bringing up all these things about being able to kick back and enjoy the fruits of your labors and enjoy your time with other people. So it all comes down to it. Are you going to do this, or are you going to follow the fear and all the scary stories that for-profit news outlets who are funded by the medical industrial complex that makes drugs, they couldn't possibly have a reason to scare people right now, could they? So yeah, this is what has to be thought about. The universe is telling us to enjoy ourselves, to feel fulfillment, to get together with people and feel good about that, and feel and have fun. But you've got people and companies with tons of money and who hold political office telling you to be scared and go hide in your house. So yeah, this new moon is telling you, make your decision. New moons, again, it's like I talk about this a lot. It's the darkening of the light. So it's when the the moon, which is a is that light drowning me out? Hand. So the moon is one of the luminaries, and it's a macrocosm of our minds, of our our emotional selves. And when we have a new moon, it's the darkening of the moon, so it goes into it's in shadow, it's in the earth's shadow. And so this is the time when the moon is not receiving the sun's full light or any light from it. And so with our minds, this is a time when it's like your mind gets a break from taking in the intense light of your soul, so that you can kind of see what's in there and reevaluate, without just having all these downloads and this new information coming in and having your soul kind of pushing you further and pushing you onward. So it's a chance to take inventory. The analogy I like to use a lot is it's like if you were on a stage and you had a spotlight shining right on you. Your visibility is limited because that light is flooding your vision. Light can blind you just as easily as it can illuminate things for you and make things clear. So the new moon is a chance to just take inventory of our emotional worlds. And it's also a time when new things are sort of being given birth to. So new things within our consciousness. So this is basically, it's an opportunity too to kind of get a new sense of, you know, what is it that's going to make you feel fulfilled and is going to make you feel like you're living life to the fullest and having fun. So real quick too, let's look at some of the other things that are going on around this new moon. So in the next sign, which is Virgo, on this day, today, Mars moved into Virgo and Mercury's already there. So the nakshatra constellation, the lunar mansion in Virgo that they'll both be in, is HASTA. And HASTA, the symbol for it is, it's either the open hand or the fist. More sources that I find say the fist, you know, and the fist is, it's like, you know, you're unifying the fingers of the hand, basically in order to strike. So, you know, I see this as kind of like it's like a coerced, sort of a forced form of unity. You know, people talk about, you know, everything has two sides, and unity can be a very good thing, but unity can be a very terrible thing because, you know, behind all authoritarian, fascist, socialist governments, you have unity, but it's everybody's being forced into unity to have the same behavior and same outlook and same opinion of everything. So yeah, that's what I see with this. Now, with the sign of Virgo, health, healing, diseases, medicines, medical workers, medical science. There's definitely a lot of censorship going on within the medical world because with the pathogenic vector that's been going around, doctors who go to school for 8 years, for all intents and purposes, just of grad school, are not allowed to treat their patients according to their best judgment. They have to use one medication, you know, and then one preventative medication, and that's it. So there's a lot of coercion going on in this medical world, in this world of health and healing that Virgo deals with. And then Virgo also deals with enemies and accidents and conflicts. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on around all of this. And then for America, Virgo is the 10th house of government and the 10th house of leaders and hierarchies. So, and like I said, this medical industrial complex, which is the mega companies that make all the medicines, they sponsor all the political campaigns and all the news networks. They are actually the biggest contributor to the news networks. And not just the for-profits, because the nonprofits like NPR are just their tax shelters where they give charitable contributions and they make a big write-off. So they've got all the angles covered. So you've got all that going on with Virgo, but yeah, America, it's leaders, government, hierarchies. So government in America is pretty much, well, most of the federal government's behind this. There's some opposition. And then the states are divided. So government is really pushing this contrived, coerced form of unity, you know, with this fist, with HASTA. So yeah, that's something we're dealing with here. But what we're going to see from today onward is that the messages coming out of government and from the medical industrial complex and the whole sick care system, aka healthcare system, these messages, they've been all nice, and they've been like, it's all about your health. It's all to help you, love you, care about you. Now with Mars here, they're going to get a lot shittier. They're going to get more aggressive, and they're going to be trying to ramrod this down our throats. They're going to try to intimidate us, humiliate us, call us stupid if we don't want to go along with their way without, you know, we don't want to be test subjects for the experimental injectable. And yeah, they're going to take a big attitude, and it's going to feel like that they are getting combative against us. And the reason for this is when planets get into conjunctions and signs, planet at the lowest degree always rules. So Mars is at 0, Mercury is at 16. So Mars is going to use the intellectual and the thinking and the communicative abilities of Mercury to conquer and to fight and to try and win. You know, Mars can be a real dickhead that just wants to win the argument, even if it doesn't have a sound argument. It's just, Mars just wants to win any pissing contest it gets into. So yeah, you're going to see a big change in these messages about becoming a test subject and getting this new experimental, non-tested emergency injectable. So we've got that going on. Then an interesting thing too, so the sign after that we go to Libra. Venus just came into Libra. Venus is at 1 degree of Libra. Libra is the sign of all the other people in the world. So it's like your spouse, your relationships, but then it's your business partners, your friendships. Libra is a house of doing business because it's all about the give and take of business, you know, the even exchange. Libra can deal with politics too, because it's all about the give and take in politics to get things done. You got to trade a favor to get a favor. So Libra can deal with, you know, arts and creativity and things like that too. But so yeah, Venus is at home in Libra. It's, you know, it's like its most comfortable home that it can live in. So this is basically bringing some harmony to our social relationships, in my opinion, and because there's been a lot of tension between people. So I think it kind of gives us a little reprieve, you know, temporary reprieve from that, because this year is going to get crazier and crazier. But another interesting thing too is Venus is in the Chitra nakshatra. In this 1 degree of Libra, where Venus is today, that's where Mercury is going to station and go retrograde on the 27th of September of this month. So real quick, Chitra is the star of opportunity. It's also the deity that rules it is the architect of the universe. So, you know, the real famous William Blake painting called The Ancient of Days, and it's this old man with a long beard, and he's holding the compass. He's like reaching out of the cloud and reaching the compass down towards Earth. So, you know, and Blake was very, what's the word I'm looking for? He was very well versed in esoteric traditions, you know, and you know, the Masons use this, the Masonic orders use this compass along with the square as one of their symbols, and they talk about the grand architect of the universe as, you know, being the, you know, the creator deity, who they pay tribute to under different names. That's why you can be any religion if you want to be a Mason. It's just you have to believe in something. But anyway, so yeah, architect of the universe. And Chitra is all about prosperity and abundance. And, you know, since Libra is a social sign, you know, this prosperity and abundance comes from having people in your life. So again, with this new moon in Leo, it's, you know, we're being asked, are you going to fall for the fear and hide in your house? Or are you going to go about your life and enjoy your social relationships? Now, another thing with Chitra, it's also, one of the symbols for it is like a pearl or a jewel. and it's the shining jewel or shining pearl of knowledge. And this is knowledge gained through seeing beyond illusions, you know, all of the illusions in our life. And you know, that's what the search for enlightenment is just seeing things as they are rather than just projecting your assumptions and your fantasies onto them. And the thing about gems, you know, gems and pearls, they form from heat and pressure, from long periods of heat and pressure. And that's the price of gaining, you know, what we call enlightenment, so we can see things clearly. It's heat and pressure and working through your emotions and all of your hang-ups and your issues. And then another thing that Chitra deals with is like the irritation and depression that comes before like artistic creation. So usually when people, you know, think about creativity and art, it's usually thought of this like peaceful and blissful thing that you can do. And excuse me. You know, artistic and creative pursuits are usually thought of as, you know, oh, I'm just gonna do something relaxing and just withdraw and be all blissed out. And it's like, no. A lot of the time when you want to create something, it can be, you can feel depressed and you can feel very on edge and irritable because you can't quite put your finger on what you want to do, but you have this emotional pressure that's driving you to do it. So Chitra deals with this a lot. So I think with Venus being here, you know, this Venus is the human planet, has the most empathy towards the human condition of all the celestials. It's the social planet of romance too. It's feeling this pressure because it wants to get back to just living life and not being basically taken in by the fear and being seduced by the fear and being seduced by the offers of security that people in hierarchies are telling them that they can give, even though they really can't. They're surfing this wave just like everyone else. So you have to think about what you want for now, and I think the rest of your life, because these times are really going to make or break the rest of your life, the decisions you make right now. And what else do we have going on here? And the other thing too, you know, we're still dealing with Saturn and Pluto are still retrograde in Capricorn, and Saturn and Pluto will still be in Capricorn together for at least a good another year and a half, close to 2 years, before Saturn goes to Aquarius. So Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn together, they force government and hierarchies to reinvent themselves and to basically do like an overhaul and a renovation. How this is accomplished is people in power, well, people who get us to surrender our power to them, who occupy these offices, they're just like the rest of us, and they don't change unless they're forced to. So they're not just going to reform authority and government just out of the kindness of their hearts and go, you know, from this Piscean pyramid structure where everybody who's not in power or a crony of people in power just get the shaft, to something more fair and egalitarian. They're not going to do this out of the kindness of their hearts. You know, a Bernie Sanders doesn't have the power to do this, and even, you know, he's not going to give that to you because he loves power and attention. You know, he's just addicted to it as anyone. And the Republicans are no better. They all suck. Let's get that straight. I'm not promoting one over the other. But they're not going to do this out of the kindness of their hearts. So what happens is when Saturn comes into Capricorn, Saturn basically clamps down, tightens up, turns government and control systems into total control freaks that want to just rule every little aspect of people's lives. And then Pluto comes in, and Pluto starts doing sneaky, underhanded shit in order to get the governments and hierarchies caught doing things they shouldn't be doing. It's kind of like how, you know, criminals, when they've been like robbing banks or murdering people or doing whatever for a long time, they kind of get sick of it, and it's like unconsciously they want to get caught, and they start, it's like they're getting sloppy, and they start leaving more clues behind, and they eventually get caught. But a lot of them, you know, once they're in prison and they get interviewed, they say, you know, I wanted to get caught. I was sick of looking over my shoulder. I was sick of hiding. I was sick of being on the run. So that is what happens with government and control systems when Saturn and Pluto are together in Capricorn. And this is happening now, and they haven't been together in Capricorn since about 1519 or so, since Protestant Revolution, the Renaissance, the Reformation. And basically back then the Catholic Church just got so flagrantly corrupt that people couldn't deny it anymore and make excuses for it, so they started their own churches, and or some of them just stopped being Catholic and they just started doing their own thing, pursuing their own spirituality or humanism or atheism or whatever the hell they wanted to do. So yeah, bear that in mind, you know, as you know, if you're feeling scared about everything going on and you just want to do whatever the talking heads and the $10,000 suits on TV are telling you, you know, bear all this in mind. And I'm going to end it there. So that's that. Thanks for tuning in. If you've not had a Vedic astrology reading with me, I highly recommend it. I don't do astrology to entertain, to tell you how your life was growing up and, you know, tell you all these details about your life that are going to wow you and impress you. I do it to help people to empower themselves, to understand their hidden gifts and talents that they haven't accessed yet, and how to take advantage of the opportunities in their life that they've been overlooking, and how to steer around the natural pitfalls, and really how to break comfort zones too. I also do rune readings, which are nice mind maps, help you to figure out what's open, what's blocked within your consciousness, and how to rebalance it. And I've got some cool downloads for sale, video downloads, qigong, instructional videos, great mind-body practice to improve and optimize your health physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. So that's that. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in.